Let's talk about the Pythagorean theorem. And it's called the Pythagorean theorem because it was popularized, not discovered, but popularized by a mathematician named Pythagoras. And Pythagoras did a lot of sort of unusual things. My favorite is that he founded a cult of Pythagoras that believed that the souls of the dead were reincarnated into beings, but the thing that he's most famous for, unfortunately, is not the bean thing, but the theorem, Pythagorean theorem, which relates the three sides of a right triangle. So specifically, the triangle must be a right triangle, meaning it has a right angle in it. And the relationship of the three sides goes like this: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And the only two things that are important to know about the Pythagorean theorem is that number one, it must be a right triangle. And number two, this C right here must be the hypotenuse of the right triangle. And if you're unfamiliar with the word hypotenuse, that just means the long side. So a triangle is made up of two legs, and then it has a long side, and the long side is the hypotenuse. And you can always tell which side is the hypotenuse because it is opposite the right angle. Meaning, once I locate the right angle in the triangle, so for example, in this triangle, it's right here where that little square is, that indicates the right angle. The hypotenuse can be found by drawing an arrow from the right angle, and where that arrow is pointing is the hypotenuse. That's always going to be the long side, the longest side of the right triangle, the hypotenuse. So in this second triangle here, here's the right angle. The hypotenuse then would be the length 15. It is opposite the 90-degree angle. Which side is A and which side is B don't really matter. Those are interchangeable. They just have to be the two legs. The important part is that the C must be the hypotenuse in order for the Pythagorean theorem to be true, or for the Pythagorean theorem to work. So once you've established this is a right triangle, and once you've identified which one of the sides is the hypotenuse, it's just a simple matter of plugging in the two sides that you do know to find the side that you don't. So in this first triangle that I labeled here, the side that we do not know is the hypotenuse, that side C. We know the two legs. The legs are 24 and 7. As I said, A and B, it does not matter which is which. I could say that 24 is the A and 7 is the B, or vice versa. I could say that 7 is the A and 24 is the B. It really does not matter at all. We will call 27 the A, so 24 the A and 7 the B, just because. No reason other than I just decided to. If we switched them, we'd get the same answer because since we're adding a squared and b squared, the commutative property of addition says when you add two things, the order that you add them in doesn't matter. 24 squared plus 7 squared is going to equal the same thing as 7 squared plus 24 squared. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 24 squared plus 7 squared equals, and then I have no idea what the hypotenuse is, so I'm going to call that c squared. So now it's just a matter of doing the arithmetic. What is 24 squared? What is 7 squared? I strongly recommend that at some point in your life, you memorize your squareds up to 25 squared. So memorize 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 2, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, all the way up to 25 squared is 625. Memorize those up to 25 squared. This is something that will really streamline things for you as you go through your math classes throughout high school and into college. Strongly recommend you memorize those. You probably already have up to 12 squared equals 144 memorized from memorizing your multiplication tables in elementary school. Go ahead and keep going. Go 13, 14, 15, all the way up to 25 squared. It'll take you a little bit of time, but I promise it's something that you'll find useful. Until then, it's okay to use a calculator. So 24 squared is going to give us 576. You should know 7 squared already from memorizing your multiplication tables, but in case you don't, use a calculator until you've got it memorized. 7 squared is 49. And when we add those two things together, 576 plus 49, we should get 625. What do you know? Now our answer is not 625. And if we stop and just think for a second, it's pretty clear that the answer is not going to be that large. We're not going to have a triangle where one side is 7, another side is 24, and then the third side is 625. Our third side is not going to be so much larger than the other two. That's because our value of c, our hypotenuse, is not 625. That is c squared. C squared is 625. So if c squared is 625, then what is c? Well, the way that we can figure that out, the way that we can turn c squared into just c, is by doing something that's called the square root. The square root of c squared is just c, and the square root of 625, again, this is a time when having these memorized would be a good idea. The square root of 625 is 25, which if you had these memorized, you just know. If you don't have them memorized, though, use a calculator. The square root of 625 is 25. So our solution here is that our missing side, our hypotenuse, is 625. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Our c squared was 625, and then we square root 625 to find that missing side, which is 25. Okay, so what do we do in a problem like this second triangle where we had two of the sides, but one of the sides was the hypotenuse? So when we label these sides, 15 is C, and 12 can be either A or B, doesn't matter. Let's just call it A just because. And the side that we do not know then would be our B. So when we do our Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, we have 12 squared, that's our A squared, plus B squared, that's the thing we don't know. I don't know B, so B squared equals C squared. C is 15, so 15 squared. Okay, now let's do some arithmetic. 12 squared is 144. You may already know that from memorizing your multiplication tables. 144. Do not know what b squared is yet, so I'm going to leave that as b squared. And 15 squared is 225. That's one you should memorize, 225. So I can't go straight to b from this equation because it's b squared still, but I can get b squared by itself by subtracting 144 from both sides. I'm pretty sure I know what 225 minus 144 is. I'm pretty sure I know what that is, but I want to be really confident. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I feel like that's probably 81. Feels like 81 to me, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to go ahead and use the calculator. If you're not sure, use the calculator. So after doing that, I get that b squared is 81, but I don't want to know what b squared is. I want to know b. So I need to square root both sides, and I end up with b equals 9. Hey, bud.
I really want to go
So
outside and jump.
b, all right, we'll go outside and jump on the trampoline in just a minute. So I end up with b equals 9. That was my missing side here. So the three sides of this triangle are 9, 12, and 15 using the Pythagorean theorem. So what do we need to take away from this? The Pythagorean theorem only works for right triangles, and it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c has to be the hypotenuse. A and b doesn't matter which of the two legs those are. A and b are interchangeable, but c has to be the hypotenuse, which is the side opposite the right angle. As long as you remember those two things, most of the Pythagorean theorem can be done on the calculator, but your goal really should be to do a little bit more memorization besides what you did back in elementary school when you learned your up to 12 times multiplication tables. Go ahead and spend a little bit of time, make yourself some flashcards, learn those last few, just the squares. Don't learn the whole times tables. Just learn 13 squared, 14 squared, 15 squared, up to 25 squared. It's not only going to pay off for you in this one specific example, but later on in algebra 1, algebra 2, even up into calculus, having those squares memorized is really going to pay off for you. So spend a little bit of time and learn those two.